Okay, we are picking up here with a little bit of a different video from me, but something we've done on the channel in the past and something Ian's also talked about as recently as talking about The Rock and John Cena a little bit when the heel turn started. But I'm going to get into one thing, and this is something that is a little based off of Ian's video, but also something because we and I just went to Backlash this past Saturday in St. Louis. What a crowd, what an event. Overall, I thought it was a great pay-per-view for not really having much build. But the big thing I want to talk about today is now that we're a month into John Cena's heel run, I want to talk about what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and what is kind of could be happening in the future with this heel run before it ends in December with John Cena retiring. So our first thoughts when the heel run started were obviously exciting. John Cena's never been a heel, something different, especially to tackle in the last year of his career. From the beginning, we thought obviously The Rock would be more involved, and that has kind of been a disappointment with how The Rock has talked about it in the media, basically being that there was no plan for him to really be involved, as well as him not even being there at WrestleMania, which I can see his point from not wanting to take away from John Cena in the main event, but then having Travis Scott there kind of just felt like like whatever. And again, I really love Travis Scott's music, his creativity, all that, but I just think there was no reason for him to be out there in that moment. Now, that has been talked about. This is what I think, especially after Backlash. I was someone that was very skeptical about John Cena and his performances right now. I'm not in the boat of saying that John Cena can't wrestle. If you think John Cena can't wrestle, you have not watched wrestling enough. He has put on classics, obviously, against CM Punk, AJ Styles. He had a great match 2015 against Kevin Owens at Battleground. A bunch of matches they had Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar versus him. What a match. Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 23. John can go. People that don't think he can wrestle just don't know what wrestling is or expect Kenny Omega, Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels type matches out of him, and that is just not him. But I will say this match against Randy Orton at Backlash was one of John Cena's best matches in a while, and proved to me that he can go as well as tell a story like he always can, but also obviously shows that him and Randy are in incredible shape. Obviously you can see it on both of them, but that they can still go. Again, respect to both of them for the match. Great storytelling all the way through. And it was a match that the crowd, I haven't been to a lot of WWE events. How into it the crowd was unreal. I mean, that was the best crowd I've ever been in. And by far the most exciting match that I've been in a crowd for. And on top of that, you know, adding in R-Truth a little bit, I could see where it goes. I could see the little, nuances, but I think it is more important to see what John did after the match. John's storytelling on his face after that match was telling, and if I am trying to guess where he's going with this, and if he is going with this in this direction, I would absolutely love. He looked like he was disappointed in himself, disappointed in the way he's kind of going forward, how he's a heel, how he kind of feels he also turned his back on people, as well as how he has said that people have turned their back on him. And I also hate how people saying his sense of being a heel is not good. He has a perfect reason to be a heel. And people think heels have to be this almighty evil and stuff like that. No, John has a perfect sense in terms of he has seen that people have been disappointed in him, whether it be in his lack of appearances, taking him for granted, saying that he didn't put over talent when he lost for 7 years, saying that he didn't do this or do that, when John has done everything for the company. He is, at times, he won a lot, but there wasn't really many people in that time other than Randy and Triple H to win. And people complain about Triple H as well. I don't hear it much about Randy. But I think he has a great sense of him being a heel. I think you just don't see it because he's not around often. And again, he said he wasn't going to be around often. He said that was the point of him being a heel. He is not going to be around. He's not going to do the right thing. He's going to do the wrong thing every time. And that's where I think in the match he did great. But at the end, his storytelling showing that when people were chanting, "Thank you, Cena," and all this throughout the match, he felt that. He felt like he now is, disappointing people, turning on people that actually do care about him. And I think that's an important factor to factor in, obviously, as we go forward, and especially with R-Truth, because I think this is where you can dig a little deeper. R-Truth is someone that says John's his childhood hero and loves him for him, and is around him and stuff like that. And I think that's something they can dig in with. They can say, he can hit home, be like, "John, like, I've always been here for you. John, I did this. John, I did that. John, we had a main event one time for the WWE Championship. I hated you, and I turned this whole thing around to absolutely love you, John. I love you. I want to do this. I want to be your biggest fan. I want to do this, and you're taking it out on me." And I think that's where they can go with this match. And I think they can really dig into it deeper. They don't have to have a full John Cena face turn right here. I still think that's a September, October type thing for him to have a face turn again. I think he still needs to have matches against Punk at Money in the Bank. I think he needs to have a big match at SummerSlam that maybe against AJ or Punk again. Maybe Seth Rollins, maybe something like that. Maybe you have a triple threat, a fatal four-way, something in that aspect. But I think as each pay-per-view goes on, he needs to slowly peel back the layers of him turning back into a face and peel the layers back of him being a heel. And the thing is John is great with that. The little things at Backlash where he was showing his face, kind of like, I don't know if I should be doing this. Maybe I do this, maybe I don't. I also like in matches that he doesn't get a crazy amount of offense in. It's not like he's super John Cena anymore. He is a guy who is on his last leg, fighting to just hold on to what's left. And I think that's something you need to take going forward with these matches, with these promos, with the superstars he goes against. We're almost halfway through this retirement run, and you can say I'll say it like this. The Royal Rumble appearance was great. Showed him a little bit turning and all that. Elimination Chamber, great. Obviously the turn was great. His promos have been off the charts. If you don't think so, you need to watch them again. The only thing I would say was disappointing was the WrestleMania main event. And I think the thing that kind of made up for it was just him winning the title. Now, the Randy match was extraordinary. The build up to it was I think John and the promos were great. I just don't think laying on his back after every episode and promo with Randy made a lot of sense. But it's something they can build forward to, and I think there is a lot to peel back in these next coming months. And it'll be another thing we touch on. Again, we are big WWE fans on this channel. We love John Cena. We love the product. We don't just love WWE, we love wrestling. We have talked about AEW in the past. We've talked about New Japan. We've talked about countless wrestling situations, wrestling events, and extraordinary circumstances in wrestling. Wrestling is cinema in its own aspect. And I think it's something to tell, if you are not into wrestling now, you should get into it before John Cena gets out of it. And I really believe that. And I think it's something in the coming months, again, we will continue to talk about with his last remaining runs, his last remaining matches.